Hello and welcome. Today I am making a video about the GI Tanto knife made by Coldsteel. Yes, there are plenty of videos or reviews about this particular knife, unboxings where people take it out of the box and they show you how well it cuts a piece of rope or sharpens a piece of stick. So basically, yes, it is a relatively good camp knife or bushcraft type of knife. And end of most of those videos, and even on the official Coldsteel video, this knife is getting thrown and says, yep, it is awesome, or sometimes they don't say anything about it. But how well does it hold up as a throwing knife? Now, I have a few of these which I've been testing for about maybe about 2 years now, and I would like to share my opinion on it. So first of all, specs. Well, all of the specs are on the internet, but these are the ones that we really need, which is the length of these knives. They kind of vary between, so this one is a 301 millimeter long. This one originally was 305 millimeter long. Now weight, as it is, this one is a 331 gram. I can't remember how heavy these were, but I remember some of them were closer to the 340 gram. But I will come back to these little inconsistencies a bit later. Also, balance point, which can be important as a throwing knife. Now, without handle scale, the balance point is on this particular knife is 240 millimeter from the handle end, and this is only 290 millimeter long as a total length. With handle scale, the balance point comes about somewhere here, and it's 122 millimeter from the back of the handle. So with these specs, they are on the lighter and shorter end of the spectrum for a conventional rotational knife, and the heavier and longer end of the spectrum for a no spin knife. So it kind of fits into both categories if you're looking for a kind of jack of all trade kind of knife or thrower. Now, handle scale, they made out of some kind of composite plastic or nylon reinforced, I'm not really sure, and they held on by two cap screws. So it is nice and straight, the handle scales. There's no finger grooves, which makes it a really good thrower. It's really easy to come out from the hand. But the screws, so my knives are always have a captive side on the left hand side, and the right hand side screw moves out of the handle. These screws will come loose, so they either have to be Loctited in or put a piece of electrical tape. Now this particular knife, not sure if it shows, but it lost 2 out of 2 screws, but electrical tape holds the handle on quite well. Now it has some kind of guard. I have all of my throwers cut off the top part of this guard. Just used a cut-off wheel and an angle grinder, and then an angle, a grinding wheel, and then a file, and then smooth it off with sandpaper. First of all, index finger positioning. I kind of have a deep grip for no spin throwing. Second of all, I think they look so much better this way. Now the spine of the knife, about 4 millimeters thick, so again just on the lower end for a throwing knife, but it's still not too bad. The blade portion of the knife, they vary between 38 to 40 millimeter wide, which makes it during no spin throwing a little bit of floaty if you haven't got your technique perfected, especially over 4.5-5 meters. but if you put enough bullet spin on it, it flies just as good. Now, it does come with a live edge. Yes, I wouldn't say sharp, but it is a live edge. It is a $40 knife after all. All of my throwers, I ran a foul across, so foul across the edge to blunt it out. But doesn't matter, even with that, the edge portion is quite thin, so you can see there is plenty of chipping when knife on knife or knife on ground contact, so they need to be constantly fouled back so they're not going to cause cuts on your hand. And if this is your best knife or this is your everyday cutting knife, yes, the edge will need constant maintenance. The top edge here, which is, again, you can see the damage that knife on knife contact causes. It's not sharp as coming out of the box, so you can't cut a piece of rope with it, but it is sharp enough to dig into your skin. So if you're going to use instinctive half spin throwing technique on it, where you need to brush down on this piece, that needs to be reworked with a foul and some emery paper. The tip of the knife, as it comes out of the box, is not too bad. It's actually quite meaty, like it will suit a camp knife type of application, but as a throwing knife it will break soon or later. Now, mine ones, some of them actually, the tip folded over, and I did manage to straighten it back out, and then it broke, or just simply broke. I do have a video on my channel which shows actually these knives being thrown with a broken tip. But it's not a problem because of the simple, it's just a straight line. All you need to do is transfer the straight line up the knife and then regrind. Now, when I regrind my tips, I made them quite meaty, and then I just reinstated a little bit of for aesthetic purposes, so it's not sharp whatsoever. But since I done that, they have not broken. Now, these knives, so my ones are manufactured in China, but I believe some of the Coldsteel stuff has been manufactured in Taiwan. I'm not sure which is the better quality. The process, I believe, they're just basically being punched out from a sheet of metal and then establish the grinds, and then they get the heat treatment. With all this being a mass-produced knife, I believe there will be inconsistencies throughout the process. So it could be inconsistency between the raw material, definitely the grind. So I'm not sure how well it will show up on the video, but if I put knives on knife, which I can't because at the moment this one has a handle scale, like for example this piece, this one's got a bigger, so the edge stops sooner. This one, the edge goes further away or further towards the handle of the knife. The whole knives, as I mentioned, they vary on at least 4 mil difference I had in knives, and they vary up to like 8 grams in total weight. So there is a bit of a variation, but then again, it is a $40 knife, so you get basically what you pay for. Now, I'm not sure if you can buy replacement screws once you lose them. They take a 2.5 mil Allen key to remove. As I said, for no spin throwing, I prefer them without the handle scale. The knife has been, on the quality, Coldsteel are relatively durable, or it has the name associated with relatively durable throwing knives, but it doesn't mean they can't break. Now, these ones haven't broken. I have not broken one, touch wood, but people have been suggested that put it in the oven for about 240 degrees, let it sit for a few hours, 3-4 hours, and then let it cool it overnight to let the heat treatment kind of finish off the heat treatment, to make sure it has the last part of the heat treatment is good. Well, I haven't done that, but the knives are coated with this black kind of a paint, or not really sure, it's dipping. They're supposed to prevent rusting, but I'm not sure how well they would like 240 degrees, so you might want to keep that in mind. Now all my knives, I spent about 30 minutes from this end down to about here to smooth out the spine. When they come, this probably not gonna show up on the video, but it is relatively rough. Now it's annoying enough for my index finger. So just to make it a nicer release, a better control, I started at 80 grit, and then I worked myself up to 400 grit sandpaper and just keep polishing it up. Also, you do have to have a smooth file at hand, because they do end up chipping each other on knife contact. That's quite important. So as a final word, they kind of sitting on the fence between a conventional rotational knife and an instinctive knife. But if you visually enjoy the knife, it's not a bad thrower, and so far 4 out of 4, the quality, I wasn't disappointed. I actually got what I paid for. So I'm not saying these are the world's greatest throwing knife, because no, and yes, custom throwing knives, you will pay more, but you will definitely get better quality, something that throws better, flies better. On the other hand, there's nothing wrong with these if you're a backyard hobbyist. Now, yes, I would really like to stress the idea, if you wish to buy one and you think this is my camp knife, and you want to learn to throw it, get another one or get 2 more, and keep one sharpened and abuse the living daylight out of the other 2, because throwing is very hard on the implements. So with that in mind, I hope you enjoyed this little review, you got some ideas out of it, and thank you for listening. Bye.